G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza, and in this video I'm going to be doing an art swap with Baylee Jae. She created this awesome line work for me, and basically what we did is on Twitter we swapped ideas for characters. So I had a request for her and she had one for me. Baylee's request for me was, and I quote, "How about a woman who looks to be some kind of royalty, like a queen of sorts?" So this is the image I did for Baylee, and she's going to be coloring this on her channel, and I've sent it to her. So make sure to go check out Baylee Jae. She does some awesome Copic art videos, among loads of other stuff. She has a toy unboxing channel and a vlog channel, but I highly recommend all of my viewers and audience to go check out her art channel if you aren't familiar with her. Loads of fun to be had on Baylee's channel, and a huge thanks to Baylee for doing this collaboration with me. So once again, if you want to see Baylee Jae color in this line work, click the link on the screen and in the description to go watch her video. Now I said to Baylee that I want to see a superhero with an edgy haircut, sunglasses, and loads of high-tech equipment. And she delivered. So this is Baylee's design. I love the art style in this piece, and I love his little robot companion here. So I'm going to be coloring in this piece today, sent to me by Baylee Jae. And to start off with, I'm not going to immediately jump to coloring in this final piece of artwork. I've actually printed up a smaller sheet with 6 iterations of the line work of the character. And that's because what I actually really like to do when I do some coloring for a character, if I'm not 100% on how to color it, which I'm not because I don't want to ruin her piece, I like to test different color palettes. So with the sheet with 6 different versions of the line work, I'm just going to take my collection of Copics and I'm going to just muck around and see what works with the different versions. This is the palette that I would assume I would go to for a character like this. So I'm going to do this in my top left character here. But when you're testing the color palettes like this, it really doesn't need to be pretty. So I'm not going to be worried about keeping in the lines or doing any blending or shading or anything like that yet. At the moment, I just want to see how the colors sit next to each other, if they look nice in the line work and on the character. And then after I do the palette that naturally comes to mind, I'm going to go to the other 5 designs and I'm going to try to become more and more daring with each one, really challenging myself, slowly ebbing into it. So starting off with 1 or 2 different colors and then by the end doing something a little more crazy. The fun thing about doing this before jumping to some refined coloring on a character's line art piece is that you really don't need to be that careful about it. In fact, quite the opposite. As you can see, I'm really just scribbling in and smooshing in the colors. And smooshing is the official term, by the way, so feel free to use that yourself. It really should be a relaxed process, and if you're relaxed in your hands and in your mind and not worried about the fact that you're going over lines a bit, then it should also relax your approach and enable you to bravely pick colors you might not normally pick and try combinations you might not normally try because you're just having a bit of fun and relaxing and there's nothing on the line. So this is the outcome of just a little bit of experimentation, and what's interesting to me is almost immediately when I started playing with more ambitious and daring colors, I started to prefer the results to my original. And in fact, I would venture to say that every single one of these characters' color palettes is better than the one I originally thought I might go with. So it's really cool to play around in this way because it can help you to push past your boundaries and the limitations you sort of set yourself. Now I will note that a couple of these jumpsuits look a little bit like the Fallout jumpsuit from the game Fallout. So I'll venture away from the blue and yellow mix in the suit just to keep things a little more original looking. But I also tend to find that the really over the top hot colors like hot reds, oranges, and purples seem to work really well with the style. Sort of like this character fits in a neon futuristic stylish sort of world, which is really cool. So in moving to the final refined coloring for the piece, I'm going to go in the direction of a really purple jumpsuit. I really like this bluish turquoise color for other parts of the suit, maybe not necessarily the straps, but other parts of the suit, maybe the lines. I also want to mix in a bit of white for a bit of a clean look, so I'll work with some very light cool grays in some of the piece. And I think I'm actually going to go for a rich orange for his hair. And the reason I'm doing that is although I like the pinks and purples, I actually want there to be a really bright, strong neon pink glow on the side, on one side of this character, so we can get a cool light contrast, which you'll see come about at the end. So I'm actually not going to do that to begin with. That will be the last part of the character that I color, this really rich neon pink. So I'm going to start off with going through the base colors, adding some darker tones, doing some blending, and then we'll get to the lighting and the fun stuff later. Okay, so this is the resulting image that I have. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far, but as I mentioned, there's a couple of final steps I want to go through, and I feel like these last little extra steps are really gonna make the piece pop. But in order to do this effectively, I honestly want to find the poppiest pink I own. So this is what I've got, and I'm going to test them out one by one and see how we go, and I'll sit them next to the piece so we can compare them. So this one is my fuchsia. Oh, that one's pretty good. Then we have shock pink. That is even better. Then we have peach. Ugh, lackluster. How about pink? That sounds promising. It's quite light. I could use this as a blender to blend it into white, so I will hold on to pink. And then finally we have cerise. Cerise. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's it. We've found it. Brilliant. Now the bummer is it's actually not showing as nicely on the camera as it is in person, but that one I just used is like a real neon pink. So I'm going to use my cerise pink, I think that's how you pronounce it, and my pink. Now you may notice I've also left two edges. I'm actually going to use the pink on the left side of highlights. So for example, over here on the hair and on the left side of his body. And then I really want to go with a sort of a glam rock look. I'm going to have a different color highlight on the right side. So I'm actually going to go through exactly the same process that I went through with the pinks with my yellows. All right, so this one's just yellow, plain old yellow. That's pretty good. This one's cadmium yellow. Ugh. Plain. This one's acid yellow. That sounds promising. Ooh, but not quite. Barium yellow. Not strong enough, but I might use that as a blender. Golden yellow. Normally one of my favorites, but a bit too saturated and strong. I really want neon with these colors. This one is lemon yellow. A little dim for my tastes. And then finally we have pale yellow, and as expected, not that great. So I have my yellows. So I'm gonna first demonstrate what I'm gonna be doing just on the hair and face, and then I'll do it on the rest of the piece but sped up. So to start off with, let's go with our cerise pink. And I'm just doing this on the very, very edge. I really don't want it to be too much. And I'm doing the same thing on the skin here, even on the glasses. In fact, I'll do it a bit stronger on the glasses because they're really reflective. And then I'm going to use my lighter pink to go through and blend that with the white. I don't want to fill the whole white area because I actually do want there to be a little bit of white between the pink and the colors of the character. Now I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. So I have my yellow. I'm going to use my really strong yellow. It's even fainter on the right side of the character. You'll notice the edges I've left on the right are less strong than the edges on the left, meaning that the pink light is essentially a stronger light. And then I'm going to repeat this process through the rest of the piece. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that is this piece almost done. I'm just taking a couple of very strong colors and filling a few of the very small bits that I haven't really done with some really bright colors. So I'm just going with a really strong saturated green for some of the bloop bleep bits. Oh, sorry, it's bleep bloop, not bloop bleep. Sorry for talking like an idiot. And then we do have this earpiece, so I'm going to take golden yellow and I'll mix that in there because it will sort of make it look like a bit of an earring as well. And that is this piece done. I'm actually really happy with how this turned out, to be honest. I really think that these neon edges for the lighting has helped accentuate the quirkiness of the character. I think my favorite part of the character is the butt. I think he's got a really firm, funny butt with these lovely little glow dots on them. I really like his little robot companion friend, and huge props to Baylee Jae for drawing such a fun piece. So once again, if you haven't subscribed to Baylee Jae on her art channel, make sure to go check out her content. She's really talented and I really appreciate her taking the time to do this collab with me. And if you've come over here from Baylee's channel and you're interested in the stuff I do stuff like this. I do tutorials and stuff, monthly art competitions, and I also do character design videos. So if you like the character that I drew for Baylee and other stuff, have a look around on the channel, and if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe for several art videos a week. Anyways, that is it for this art swap collab video. Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for new content every week. If you want to support my work and get some goodies for yourself, head over to my store for archives, ebooks, digital brushes, video courses, and more. If you enjoyed this video, here's a link to some more content you might like. Draw with Jazza is proudly sponsored by Adobe. Join the Creative Cloud today and get loads of incredible industry-standard creative tools such as Photoshop, Animate, Premiere Pro, and other apps for your computer or mobile device. That's it for now. Thanks for joining the arty party, and until next time, I'll see you later.